Josh here. So, just in the interest of fairness, we'll start with our broadcast and immediate use colleagues and then come on to print guys. Darren, you waited the entire time last time, so I'll let you kick off with Josh this time.
Thanks, mate. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
We spoke to Xandra a lot about it as well, but maybe just can you try and put into context the scale of the achievement this would be if you guys pull this off, given the addition of the South African teams and just the quality of opposition you guys have faced this season?
Yeah, obviously they're a really good team, and obviously this is a really good challenge for us. And being a young guy growing up in New Zealand as a young kid, watching all the big games, and the Super Rugby, watching the Bulls, they've always been a great team, and yeah, to be a part of it is pretty special. To still be able to play the South African teams, but also to come over here for a final was awesome.
I'm guessing from a personal point of view, it'd be a real kind of vindication of your move to Glasgow. It's the kind of reason you came here, isn't it? To play in these big games on these big occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, wherever you go, you want to be playing in big games and in finals. But yeah, it is really awesome to still be able to do these trips to South Africa. Because you grow up on telly, getting up at 3 a.m. to watch your would have been Crusaders at the time play the Bulls and the likes of those other big South African teams. So yeah, no, absolutely vindication. But yeah, just really excited to have a good week and put in a performance we can be proud of.
Thanks. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, Anthony.
Hi, Josh. How much confidence can you take from the way you played against the Bulls last month?
Yeah, obviously there were sort of peaks and troughs in that game. So we'll be looking to sort of smooth things out and, I guess play a bit more consistently across the whole 80. But yeah, they were obviously great that day, but we were poor and we were good also, you know what I mean? So yeah, we can definitely take confidence out of that.
Good. And how much has the team developed since last year's final in Dublin?
Yeah, I think the team's come a long way in the last 12 months. In that first season with Franco, we were sort of figuring a few things out, but we've sort of been able to go from strength to strength a little bit this season. Yeah, we've still had our ups and downs, but I think across the board we've been a whole lot more consistent, which is what we're after.
Do you think that experience last year can help you sort of handle the occasion this weekend?
Yeah, I think it can only be a positive thing. A lot of the boys, I'm just assuming that a lot of the boys who played in last year's final are going to be, showing up in this year's. But it's also important for the whole squad, you know what I mean? Because we ride the wave together. So yeah, obviously it's going to help, which is a good thing.
Robin, cheers.
Cheers.
Andrew.
Well, just touching on last week first, Josh, a lot of boys played down the rivalry with Munster, but it seemed to still be there. Did that help? I'm thinking of Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, taking things personally really spurred him on. Was it the same for you guys?
Yeah, obviously there's a bit of a rivalry there, and that's sort of brewed over many years and many games. But yeah, I mean, of course there's going to be heated moments. It's a semi-final, regardless of where it is. Whether we were hosting them or they were hosting us, like it was always going to be fiery. Toman Park was an awesome place to play. The way the match went, it was really tight all game, so it kept the crowd fired up. And there's quality boys in their team, so they're huge competitors as well. So yeah, I think there was always going to be a few spicy moments. But we were able to hold our composure and come out on the right side of the ledger at the end.
And looking ahead to this weekend, I think everyone knows how physical the Bulls are, but is it a bit dangerous to think, oh, well, they're just a purely physical side, they're a one-trick pony?
Oh, absolutely. They've got some electric backs. They've got good kickers who can get them around the field. They've got strong ball carries. They're certainly not just a one-trick pony. They're a quality opposition, and we're well aware of the challenge that they bring.
And obviously Glasgow have got a great record of getting to finals, not necessarily a great record in them. What needs to change to change that? Is it a mentality thing?
I think it's just we've got to have confidence in ourselves and back ourselves, which I think we do in the squad at the moment. And we just need to not get too far ahead of ourselves. Just play it moment by moment, minute by minute, and not sort of think of the not think of the outcome as important as just nailing the processes throughout the whole 80 minutes.
And just for you, obviously, kind of talked about physicality in defence already, but do you feel a kind of pressure that, when you're fielding a long kick or you've got a couple of kind of yards to run into, are you thinking, right, I've got to make this count?
It's just part of the job description, mate. It's just my job to track the ball back up the field. So, I just want to get the ball and just get as many meters back up the field as I can, make it easier for our boys in the forward pack because they're doing a heap of work for us.
And that's everything from me, Josh. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Last on the broadcast, Brendan.
Hey, Josh. Just first of all, there's this question mark about Vinny LaRue's fitness. The Bulls are missing a couple of players since you last played them. Does that take away from the game, or does the final trump that all? And is it a disappointment that you're not going to play against those guys if they don't play?
Yeah, I mean, if they're fit to play, then that'd be awesome. But whoever's out there, it's a proud team, so I'm sure they'll go out there and put the jersey first and give it everything they've got. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait for the team naming and sort of see who's there.
You're one of the few players who've had Super Rugby experience as well and played against South African teams. There's the constant debate, I suppose, coming across from New Zealand and South Africa about whether it's better that South Africa's in Europe and not in Super Rugby anymore. Just your take on it. How do you see the whole thing? And do you think New Zealand's lost something by not playing South Africa as regularly?
Yeah, I mean, variation's obviously good. I think it's been really good for Super Rugby with the addition of the Fijian Drua and Moana Pacifica. But like, if you look at logistically, it certainly makes a whole lot more sense for the South Africans to come to Europe because there's only 1 hour time difference, probably being the main reason. It's a little bit closer. But yeah, I guess playing in Super, some of the funnest trips were always going to South Africa because, usually you're away with the boys for 2 weeks. It's really good bonding. So to still be able to do those trips from the URC, is really awesome. So I'm, selfishly, I'm happy that they're in the URC.
That's fair enough. Just lastly, just on Franco and what he's brought to the team. Obviously, we know him pretty well here in South Africa. He knows Loftus well. Has there been anything that he's sort of helped you guys understand what to expect, or how to get over the hurdle of altitude and home ground advantage?
Yeah, obviously we know the challenges of playing at altitude and what Loftus can bring, but yeah, I guess we had a good couple of games over here to sort of get a feel of what it's going to feel like on the lungs and all that. But at the end of the day, we just want to not focus on that so much. Like, we haven't really talked about it too much, and just sort of get on with the jobs at hand.
Cheers, mate. That's all from me.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is now for the print section. So embargo for 10 o'clock tonight for Josh. I'm going to try and do in roughly reverse order from last time, but there's no chance I'm going to get this right. So Mark, if you want to kick us off, I know you went last the first time.
Hi, Josh. How you doing? We were chatting there about Willie LaRue, and obviously there's that doubt about whether he plays. But is in general terms, is he somebody that you kind of grew up admiring? Obviously, he's been an excellent player in your position for so long, double World Cup winner and all the rest of it.
Yeah, hey Mark, I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, obviously he's absolutely someone I've looked up to. As a younger fella growing through, he would always be a guy sort of pulling the strings. Whether you'd be watching the Super Rugby teams at home or if I'd be playing overseas. And yeah, he's been a big influence on South African rugby for a long time. So yeah, I mean, it was cool playing against him last time, and hopefully he's playing again this weekend.
you know, looking from back there at fullback, there'd be a lot of talk about, you know, the qualities that have underpinned these two Glasgow wins over the last couple of weeks, and maybe being sort of less Glasgow-like qualities or the things that we associate with you. But, you know, within that, you still managed to score a couple of great counter-attacking tries there at Thomond. Does that show that you can kind of have the boast, or, you know, that it's possible to have the best of both worlds, retain that same trait?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, we haven't really changed much in sense of counter attack. Like, we're always sort of trying to run it back. But yeah, I guess you're going to get a couple of good ones when you do run it back more. But yeah, I guess with ball in hand, you know, we're always looking to sort of play quite expansively and good running rugby.
And just the last one, with the altitude, you know, games do tend to open up in the last quarter potentially. I mean, that's when this team tends to come alive, isn't it? So, you know, is there actually a benefit to the altitude as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it from both sides of the coin. You know, we were able to stay in the game because of the last 20 minutes when we played them last time. So I think we can take a bit of confidence from that. But also, you know, we don't want to look too far ahead of ourselves. Like, there's a whole lot of rugby to be played before the last sort of quarter. So as I said before, we've just got to focus on it moment by moment and focus on our processes throughout each individual part of the game and just not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Top man. Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, mate.
Sim, I think you were there last time, so I'll let you go Sim, and then Jan, you put your hand up, so we'll go Sim and Jan.
Hey Josh, how you doing?
Good, mate.
An awful lot has been made of the travel in this competition. Just as someone who's experienced travel from New Zealand and now from Europe, what's your take on the toll that it takes?
Yeah, so my take on it is that when we're traveling from Super Rugby from, you know, New Zealand, one of the difficult things was, yeah, it's usually hotter in South Africa, so you've got the heat factor. Sometimes you've got the altitude factor, but then you've also got the time difference. So I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's 9, 10, 11 hours, which is probably almost the hardest thing to adjust to, because it would mean on a training day or game day, you're waking up at 4 in the morning and you're not playing till maybe 4 in the afternoon, maybe 6 in the evening. Whereas, you know, here, like this morning, I woke up at 8:30. It's a normal routine. There's only 1 hour time difference. So you got your normal sleep hours, your routine stays the same. That's probably one of the biggest differences I've noticed traveling from Europe versus traveling from New Zealand.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Right. We'll go Jan and then Graham Bean after this.
Thanks very much, Josh. Jan de Koning, Rugby 365. We've seen, not just in URC, but we've seen South African teams when they get to the playoffs and particularly finals, that they seem to lift their game. There's a determination in their game when they play in these finals. Are you guys expecting much of the same? Are you planning something different to make sure you're up for it?
Oh, I think absolutely. Yeah, our proud side you saw last week, how good they were against Leinster, who are, you know, a world-class outfit. So I think for us, we've got to be, you know, mentally and physically ready on Saturday night. But yeah, I think we've just got to just keep on building from what we built on the Stormers game and the Munster game. But, you know, take nothing away that, you know, we're well prepared and we sort of know what the challenge the Bulls at Loftus is going to bring.
Yeah, your teammate just touched on about the Franco's regimented approach to this game. Would that help in this situation?
Yeah, I think it can only help if you've got some sort of some good structure to fall back on. You know what I mean? If things get a bit free flowing, you know, we'll be able to sort of pull it back to our structures and how we want to play the game.
Yeah. Last one from me. We've seen a team like Munster, when they get to Loftus, they seem to want to stop the game. I mean, there's like a prop down at every line out, a prop down at every scrum. Is that a negative? You guys just prefer to stick to what you do. You talked about your structure. You prefer to stick to the structure, even if it means the game keeps flying at altitude.
I think absolutely. You know, we just want to do what we can do to be in every moment and, you know, give ourselves a chance at the end of the game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Graham Bean and then Graham McPherson.
Hi, Josh. I just wondered if you could speak a little bit about your own game. This is your third year at Glasgow, and you seem really kicked on this season. You had a good run, injury free. You must be delighted with the way you've played this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to be injury free and fit for selection every week is where we want to be physically as rugby players. So, yeah, I mean, in my first couple of years, like I still managed to play a decent amount of games, but had a couple of surgeries. Last season was the season ended to my foot, and the season before was to my ankle. So that sort of makes it a bit, well, it obviously makes it difficult to be available every week. So I think this year, to be injury free, like physically, my body's been in a good spot all season. So it's meant I have been able to play a lot of rugby, which is, as rugby players, that's what we want to play every week. So yeah, it's been awesome. And I think when you're playing consistently, it helps your confidence and you sort of can grow as a player on field. You can build combinations. But yeah, no, it's been an awesome season with the Warriors. And I'm absolutely loving it over here in Scotland and Glasgow. So yeah, it's awesome.
And having missed out last season on the final, that must fuel your desire to do something special on this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're sitting in the stands in a moon boot, you're pretty helpless. So yeah, absolutely fuels the fire, you know. But yeah, just really looking forward to the challenge ahead. You know, the Bulls at Loftus, as a young kid growing up, supporting the Crusaders, that's where you want to be. Yes, I'm not wearing a Crusaders jersey, but it's awesome wearing the Warriors jersey, playing in, you know, an awesome stadium against a awesome opposition.
Great. Thanks very much. Good luck, Josh.
Yes.
McPherson.
Hi, Josh. I saw your tribute to Connor. Obviously, terrible news. Can you tell us about your kind of friendship and what you guys went through growing up?
Yeah, so Connor and I, we were at Lincoln University together. We played for Canterbury together, and we also played for the Highlanders together. And yeah, it's just so deeply saddening. He's an all-round one of the greatest guys you ever meet. Light up every room. And yeah, he's a huge loss. Yeah, it's pretty hard to sort of put into words at the moment. It's still quite raw.
Yeah. I guess you'll be in your thoughts then. You take to the pitch on Saturday, you know, kind of doing it for him in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives me another motivation factor.
Right. All the best for Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll go Ashfaq and then David and Stuart, and I think that's everybody after that. So Ashfaq, if you go.
Thank you. Josh, because of the altitude, the ball obviously flies much further. Does that make things difficult of when to kick and when to run? Because obviously the temptation is just to boot the ball, you can really drive him back. But your natural inclination is also to run and be an attacking fullback.
Yeah, I think obviously the ball does fly further at altitude. And you know, the Bulls certainly make use of that. They've got some players who can really kick the ball long. But I guess for us, you know, it helps us when we want to kick, the ball's gonna fly further. And when we want to run it, nothing changes.
And do you enjoy the fast pitch at Loftus Versfeld? The pitch is really good for attacking counter-attacks.
Yeah, the field's in great nick. And you know, it's always nice to play on grass. It's a bit more forgiving on the body than some of the 4Gs we play on in Europe. And it's South Africa. It's not rained here. We've been here 2 weeks earlier, a couple of days, the sun's out. So I reckon it's going to be perfect conditions for a good run in rugby.
And just finally, Josh, the Bulls have improved their kicking game quite a bit this season, especially from halfback with those box kicks and handling those up and unders. How do you see that challenge go?
Yeah, obviously, they've got some good chases on the ball, and their nines are putting it on the money. So it's just about winning the air and jumping high to try and catch the ball before they catch it.
Yes, thank you.
David and then Stuart.
Hi, Josh. It's the same referee as last week. Is that helpful in terms of, you know, every referee's kind of looks at the game slightly differently? You know, you guys have maybe got more of an idea now than you did certainly in the first 10 minutes against Munster when I think you lost 6 penalties or something.
Yeah, we didn't start too flash, did we? So we can probably take a learning from that.
I mean, you feel you've got you'll likely have a general feel about the stuff that he's maybe tighter on and stuff that you can get away with.
I mean, it's a final. He's going to ref it how he sees it. So, I think the easiest thing that we can do is just focus on ourselves, and if that's not getting too greedy at the breakdown or offside was, I think, a couple of the ones we got pinged. That's a pretty easy fix. So yeah, I think we might have just been a little bit too eager there, maybe.
Yeah, so it's a lesson learned, a kind of handy lesson learned before another big game.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a massive game, so we don't want to be giving away silly penalties, particularly in the first 10 minutes.
When we spoke to the guys after the game on Saturday, nobody was really sure if anybody, any of the family or friends would make it over. Do you know if there's anybody managed to kind of get flights from Scotland over for this game? Please. And is there anyone making that 28-hour flight from New Zealand for you?
Nah, unfortunately not. That's a wee bridge too far. But I think Johnny Matthews' parents are coming over. A couple of Scousers coming over from Liverpool. So as far as I'm aware of, they're the only ones. But then I think some of the Nathan's parents are coming down because they live locally. So travelling support. There might not be too many Warriors flags in the stadium.
Yeah, go into the Lions' Den, I suppose.
Yeah.
Magic. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Right. Stuart, I think you're the last one.
Hi, Josh. If Franco tells you on Saturday you've got the last word to the team before you all leave the changing room, what would be your key message to your teammates?
Just go out there and have fun. It's at the heart of why we all play rugby. That's why we all played it from a young age. We didn't play it at 5-6 years old running around in the frost because we hated it. So I think that's at the core root of everything. It's just, we're professional rugby players, but it all began on a small field somewhere, probably running around in bare feet, because that's where we wanted to be.
And have you, in your own mind, if not publicly, worked out that there may be one or two areas of the game that will decide this match, or is it all about just all-round consistency from first to last?
Obviously, yeah, there's going to be potentially some more important than others. It's widely known now that the breakdown is a massively important part of the game, as it is in every game. But yeah, I mean, the more all round we can play consistently, the more it's only going to increase our chances.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Right. Unless I've missed everybody, which is entirely possible, that is us. So thank you everybody for joining on, and we'll see you on Friday for those on team announcement.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.